the code for Cromwell Empire.
It's a Sheringham. History is made. Manchester United are the champions of Europe.
Hello and welcome to This Is United podcast. I am your host Vince. Today I'm joined by Alex.
Hello. I nearly said, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
You're alright.
You're right.
You got to do it.
I'll leave it in.
Yeah, should
we get straight into it?
Go straight into the Brighton game?
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know the context to that, it's Erling Haaland. And since I heard it, I was saying to Vince, that's been living rent free in my head. Every time someone says, all right, I go, all right.
Do you want a Polo?
I want a Polo. Yeah, straight into the Brighton game. I'm glad we can laugh.
Yeah.
We're a couple of days out since, and my head's absolutely fried from it.
Yeah, it was a tough one, wasn't it? I don't think I've been as angry as that for a long time after a result. It wasn't like we played really poorly kind of anger. It was just devastated when you can see it on 95th minute loser. Yeah. Oh, it killed me.
I think we'd conceded, is it 8 in the last, since Sir Alex left, I think 8 of them, we've conceded 8 90th minute winners. And I was looking at the amount of games horrendous. And majority of them are under one manager. Something's not right, is it?
No. What did you think of the performance overall?
I'm not like devastated by the performance, but it was the same against Fulham. I'm not being deceived that this is a brand new team. Eric Ten Hag's changed the way we're playing, 2 number 8s or whatever he wants to do and play Bruno Fernandes as a false 9. I'm not being gaslit into thinking that works. It's not working.
We haven't got
we scraped through against Fulham and we had a nightmare against Brighton. The problem that we have got that needs fixing is putting the ball in the back of the net. The amount of chances, the amount of opportunities we're just wasting. I know it wasn't significant in terms of the result in the end, the Garnacho chance against Fulham, but it's significant in the sense that your team is scoring 1 goal a game and relying on 1 chance, and then going into the next game, you don't come off that bounce of scoring last minute, at Old Trafford, the crowd's up, everyone's got that good feeling. It's that tense, nervy energy that we're taking into the next game because we've just edged 1-0.
Yeah, it was, especially when you've got strikers out there like Tony who are just free to go. I don't understand why we're not going for something like that. I know we've signed Xerxes and we've got Højlund, but again, we don't know. Xerxes is an unknown at the moment, and Højlund doesn't fill me with confidence. The number 9 position is massive for us. And I agree with you, the 2 up top. I like the pressing. I like how we move forward, and I think we control the ball a lot better. I enjoyed that aspect of it, but football is scoring goals, it's entertainment, and we're not doing it, and we haven't done it for a season or 2.
Did you see the clip of Rashford?
I've seen loads of clips of Rashford.
Yeah. But the one that was going, obviously you watch the game and in the moment you're like, go on, drive it in. And then our players keep bringing it back, which is why I like Ahmad, and we'll get onto that after. But Rashford dicked his fullback, took him down the wing, stopped, brought it back, waited for the run and passed it. So that pass was on if he'd have carried on running, but also he could have kept running and attacked the defender.
Which is what he would have done. The only thing is with Rashford, obviously, I'm not his number 1 fan at the moment. He frustrates the hell out of me. Is in that situation, you look at all other decent teams, you have an overlapping wing back. Dalot should have been up alongside him. He's not. Yeah. We know Dalot's not a left back, so understand. I actually thought Dalot had a pretty strong game compared to the Fulham game. He attacked very well, put the ball in for Ahmad, which he should have scored. Yeah. But there's no one with him. When you see the teams that are dominating, there's 2 of them stood there. Rashford's on his own, and he's got no confidence. They should be helping him out. So I'll back Rashford on that one. Yeah. He might beat a man, but he doesn't know what he's going to do next. He's just completely head's gone. I think he's finished. For me, I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back.
There's the only one way he comes back, I think, at this point, and I think we talked about it at the start of the season, is he leaves. And I think it's the only way he comes back in terms of his own career. As far as United are concerned, we cannot afford to carry on with players who are not putting the ball in the back of the net. It is as simple as that. I said to you last week before the Brighton game, if we are not taking our chances, Brighton go and beat us. That's not me going, maybe that might happen. No, I know that's going to happen. Brighton will put their chances away and we won't.
How much would you love a Danny Welbeck? We said on the last week, didn't we, that Welbeck would score. It's obvious. It's obvious.
And then João Pedro at the back post, and obviously
He's
defending
good.
was absolutely awful. I mean, it's shocking actually, because I cannot believe he's got that much space.
So where do you stand with that? So I went onto Twitter. I voiced my opinions on Twitter. I probably shouldn't have. I don't want to blame the manager. It's not a case of it's all on Ten Hag, and you can kind of understand where people are coming from, where it's the defenders. They should be reading situations like that. But my issue is, why the hell are you changing the back four? We don't need to. We weren't not in control of the game. I know Maguire made the mistake for the goal, but at no point did he need to be hooked off. It's a case of, I've got an extra sub, I'll use it. If you're playing as a back four and it's not changed, I'm telling you now, that doesn't happen. Maguire shifts that defence across, Martinez shifts that defence across, so that doesn't happen. You've got Scott coming on for Bruno, which was ridiculous anyway. Casemiro just seemed to fuck off, or he's in the box and then just went, I'll go. That doesn't happen if you stick with the back four. There is no need to keep changing it. It was a completely stupid substitution, so I'm putting that on the manager there. I know you can say individuals should be picking that up, and I do agree with that, but if that back four doesn't change, that goal does not happen. There's no way.
The years of Premier League football that we've watched, where you see winning sides, it's a back four, and it's stuck with that back four. It's consistent.
When do you take Saliba or Gabriel off? When are you taking...
You wouldn't.
It just doesn't happen.
Terry, Carvalho. You look at the seasons.
Ferdinand.
Vidic, Ferdinand. Like, you have a back four that's consistent, and you keep it that way. With this manager, it seems like like Pep Guardiola aside, he can get away with it.
Yeah, brings on a Kanji.
He brings on
genius.
world-class centre-backs and full-backs left, right and centre, because they've got a plethora of it. But with us, we don't have that luxury. We need a consistent back four. Actually, do you know what? The goal, I know you say it's Maguire's mistake. I actually thought Martinez was at fault for that Danny Welbeck goal. He's taken the back post instead of the very obvious threat that was right in front of him. I'm not saying that he would have got there, but he had to get in front of Danny Welbeck. Instead, he hung back. He wasn't being helped out, and he was by himself, and he was isolated, but he had to make the decision of who's the biggest threat in that split moment. It's Danny Welbeck. Let me get in front of him. And he didn't do that. That worries me ever so slightly, but I do think you're right. If we've got a consistent back four of, and in my opinion, Mazraoui, De Ligt and Martinez, with Dalot playing left back for now, keep that back four as it is. Start it in the next game and don't change it. The Johnny Evans substitutions, the Harry Maguire substitutions, the constant fullbacks coming on and off. And do you know what's most frustrating about this is one of the best performances I've seen under Erik ten Hag, and one of the most brilliant tactical displays I've seen was our last game of last season against Manchester City in the FA Cup final. He went with a back four with Wan-Bissaka. That back four worked so well because the only threat we had was going to be the massive amount of space that we were giving City down the wings, which they couldn't hurt us because we've got the best one-on-one defender in the world. And he sells Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Make it make sense to me, mate, because I'm at the point where I've told you a million times, this manager is not good enough for Manchester United. He is not good enough. We need a manager who can affect a game positively, not negatively during the game. He's affecting it negatively almost, I'd say, 5-6 times out of 10.
His subs are the worst, aren't they?
So
consistently over last season.
What are you adding as a manager? Because it's not tactical. As far as I'm concerned, you could be in charge of that team, and you would finish higher than 8th with that team last season. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating. This is true.
We last season was a freak season, especially with the injuries. No
Is it?
excuses.
Because we finished 6th.
We had no back four, mate. We're talking about here about having a decent back four to win the league or to be in contention with being even in top four. We didn't have a back four last season, and then this season he makes the mistake of bringing on someone who has no Premier League experience, De Ligt. Last couple of minutes a game against a team that are very decent. Stupid mistake, but like I said, let's go with the substitutions. It's consistently bad. He does it all the time. He doesn't take off Rashford when he needs to take. You can see it as a fan when you're watching the game how bad Rashford is, or if Ahmad's having a bad game, or Garnacho or Højlund, he'll leave him on and he'll go and put Johnny Evans at the back. What do you mean? If you're going to do that, go 5 at the back. Lose a midfielder and go 5 at the back and just hold on for what you've got. He doesn't do anything tactically in those situations. Now, I like the pressing, and I like the control we had. I think if you go from about 50th to the 70th minute, we controlled that game beautifully, and we were playing really good football. And I thought, we get a goal, we're going to get 2. We get the goal, it gets chalked off. Had we got that goal, I think we probably score a couple more.
I think we probably win 3-1.
Yeah, I agree. So it's easy to beat him with a stick now because we've got beat, and it was probably
But it could have gone the other way, and we could have been sat on 6 points and been like, "Oh, we beat a tough side in Brighton, beat a tough side in Fulham, and we're in a good position."
I just don't want to make the same mistakes again. Stop making the same mistakes.
These are the mistakes that happened last season. So it's not that I'm just overreacting and you're overreacting. We've seen this. We've got experience of this as of last season, where we had a manager who pretty much didn't know what he was doing until the final game of the season in a one-off game against Man City, where he absolutely did a number on Pep. We've got to be honest about that. But we can't afford to have one game a season decide how well our season's gone. This is Man United. We need to win a league. We need to be at least challenging. Arne Slot's come in to Liverpool. He's immediately come in, and I can see
tell his
an
football.
Arne Slot team immediately. I watched the pre-season game against Liverpool, and whilst I think you were quite positive in the first half,
really
and stuff
good,
like that, I'm not fooled by that. I saw Arne Slot's team, and I thought this is a team that will either go and push for a title, but regardless, we'll finish ahead of Manchester United.
At no point did I think Liverpool were going to finish below United. We'll give a bit of banter about it, but when you've got Gary Neville and Roy Keane saying, I think United are going to finish above Liverpool, I'm like, that's pure unadulterated bias, and I've got plenty of it. Yes,
but,
we both.
But I am super realistic. I saw that Arne Slot team, and I thought, look, we don't know. The end of the season could come, and anything can happen. But under the current management, we finish below that team, and we probably finish about 2 or 3 places below them at this rate.
Did you watch Liverpool on the weekend?
Yeah.
I don't want to say this on anywhere, but I really enjoyed Liverpool's performance. I thought they were brilliant. I enjoyed sitting there. Like, I don't know about you, I cannot watch Man City. They're the best team in the world, but they're the most boring team. They kill them off, which is going to be we're the best team. It's
effective.
Exactly that. Yeah. So I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen. Absolutely should, because they're the best team in the world. But I just don't enjoy watching it. I enjoyed that Liverpool performance against Brentford. They're still a decent side. Obviously, they don't have Tony up top, but they're still a very good team. And Liverpool just controlled that game. They never looked like they were going to concede. Yeah. They looked like they could have scored 20 goals. I was like, wow, they're going to be up there this season. I didn't think they'd get top 4 this season. I think I did it in the predictions. Obviously, I'm going to put United above Liverpool in those predictions.
But you watch them.
They're going to push for the title this year, I think.
And do you know what?
And that's
the biggest thing I said to you in the group chat after watching that game, they're devastating. Yeah. When they're through one-on-one, if they get a chance, they're putting it away. Our attackers do not put it away. Their attackers do, and that's going to cost us next weekend. Unfortunately, and football, obviously, Old Trafford, the crowd will get behind them. I was there last season for this game, and a game that I thought we actually probably could have won, where Cobby scored the goal and Bruno scored the goal from almost the halfway line. It was probably the whole season summed up in that performance. That yes, we should have and we could have, but we didn't. And
that's always it's been us for the last couple of years. Isn't it?
So that's why we didn't get the result against them. Obviously, it was 2-2. But this season, honestly, for anyone who's got their hopes up for this game on the weekend, I honestly wouldn't even watch it. If you're really fancying it.
To blind faith.
Look, I'm going to sit there.
This is a test for both teams, right? Let's put it out. It's a test for both teams. Liverpool. Everyone's going to say Liverpool haven't played a big team, blah 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 blah, and the United have lost to Brighton, blah 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 blah. This is a big test for both clubs. Like we said, obviously Brighton will see where we are. We're still a million miles away. But if we go and get a result against Liverpool, look what happened to our season when we knocked them out in the FA Cup. It derailed Liverpool's season. This is still quite early on, obviously, but I still think it's a massive 3 points for either team. Yeah. If Liverpool beat us convincingly, they're going to be well up for it this season. If we go and get battered, we're in big trouble. But if we come away with a decent performance and a win, that could change our season already.
I'm telling you now, it's more likely that we get beat 3 or 4 than we do get a result.
I don't disagree.
There is nothing that is suggesting to me from the first couple of games from both sides that this is going to go any way other than Arne Slot's going to do a number on Erik ten Hag because he's a far superior manager. The only thing that gets us through that game is the Old Trafford crowd. It's the only thing. And if you're telling me now, would you take a point? I'll take a point right now.
I would.
I'll take a 0-0 right now because this could be embarrassing again. And I don't want to be negative, but how can you not after what we've just seen? I'm not seeing anything of any merit that this is a side that could even go close to the title. We're not.
Look, we're not going to be anywhere near.
But how can we sit there, spend all that money that we have spent, and we've had a pretty good. We brought in Matthias de Ligt, who was tipped to be one of the best centre-backs in the world a couple of years ago. Now we've brought in Xerxes as well. Again, another really young, exciting prospect.
Didn't get on the ball.
You look player for player, we've got a very, very good side and a side that should be pushing for the Premier League title. If it was Mikel Arteta, if it was Arne Slot, if it was Pep Guardiola, every single one of those would have a really good chance of winning the title.
I think we are going over the top on Arne Slot. Yeah, hold on. Give him they look good, but I'm sold on him, mate. I'm sold on him, and I hate that I am, but I am completely sold on him. Everything I see is positive. The only thing will be interesting is when a manager gets to grips, or managers across the Premier League get to grips with how they play, that kind of suck you on and boot it over the top. They've got that in abundance. They've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, they've got Virgil van Dijk, they've got people who can play diagonal passes and play players like Salah and Diaz in. Salah looks back as well, doesn't he?
Because the thing is, the brilliance of this Arne Slot team is he's designed it so that if you press, he can do you, and they are devastating, like I said, on the attack. But if you don't press and you sit off, they've got players who are intricate enough who can pick you off. Yeah, Alexis McAllister, Luis Diaz, players who can run.
Szoboszlai looks pretty solid this season as well.
This is the genius of it, and he's come into this Liverpool side and actually suits him down to the ground, because they're talking about signing a number 6. They don't need one. They've got a midfield 3 that absolutely suits him down to the ground. Whereas Man United, we're third season in with Erik ten Hag, and I still don't know if Erik ten Hag knows his best team.
No.
I'm sick of it, mate.
100%. He doesn't know his best team, because he keeps starting Rashford for starters. How many opportunities are you going to get when you're not going to perform? Oh, but you can play next week. You were shit last week, but I'll take you off after about 70 minutes. But yeah, you can play again next week. There's no like I think we were speaking the other day about dropping Maguire and putting De Ligt in. He won't drop a player unless they have a bad performance. But Rashford is consistently having bad performances, and he ain't dropping him. Casemiro consistently having bad performances, doesn't drop him. What do you do?
What I would say is, though, you go into this Liverpool game, you want to start Rashford.
I don't. I really don't. You're telling me you wouldn't start Garnacho, Ahmad?
I'd start Rashford.
No way. I wouldn't.
And it's not on merit.
I'm sick of it. It is because you class him as a big game player. You say it for England. You say he can turn it on.
He's got history.
That's gone.
He's got history.
That's gone, mate. How many goals did he score last season?
7 Premier League goals.
That is gone, mate. It's not coming back. He's not gonna score a world against Liverpool, and all of a sudden he's gonna kick off his season. He'll score against Liverpool and then be shit again for another 10 games. He's done. He's finished. Nobody else would get these chances. No. It's only because he's Manchester born. He's come through the academy. It's the only reason. He's done. He's finished. He's not coming back.
Can we talk about something positive? I have got one positive thing. Yeah, I mean, Cobby's an absolute, he is
a gem.
Everything.
Yeah.
One thing positive I will say, and I know you're probably going to disagree with me on this, but I think Amad Diallo is exactly what Manchester United need.
I do.
I think he's bang on it, and I would not be dropping him for Garnacho at this point. And like you said, probably drop Rashford. But Amad Diallo is a top class potential winger.
I agree.
He's a player that Manchester United haven't had, who turns and faces a defender. Nobody
brings
wants to
the
get
ball
near
down
him.
under pressure, and he does well with it.
And this is what I love about him as a footballer. He can do everything you need him to do. He can turn and run at a defender, but he can also keep it. He's sensible with possession. Yes, he's going to try things. He's young, but the potential with this kid,
he's definitely more of an inside forward, isn't he? So he doesn't like it on the wing. He likes the ball to be put through, and he comes in off the wing.
But he can take it. He can take it wide, and that's what I love about him.
I do like him.
It's the closest thing to Mo Salah as we've got, and we just need a player who's going to get into the positions and put chances away. And he did that against Brighton. So you've got to take your hat off to him. You know, he was our biggest threat.
You look at it again now. Look at the starting lineup against Brighton. As a United fan, where are the goals coming from? Because there's not one player. Take Ahmad aside, but even him, you don't know whether he's going to score one week or not. You don't know where them goals are going to come from. They ain't coming from Casemiro. They're not a Mainu thing. Bruno can't put the ball in the back of the net. Rashford's gone. Xerxes we don't know about. Mount, I was unlucky because I thought he had an okay first half, but he got injured again by the looks of it. Look, we've got nobody that can score goals. Go and sign.
That's where you said you were right.
Go and sign him.
Yeah, he sat there waiting for a contract.
If he goes to Chelsea for anything less than 50 million and we haven't gone in for him, I'll be pissed off.
Well, we're also sat in a position where we're about to see Federico Chiesa sign for Liverpool for less than 15 million. Whilst letting Scott go for 25, and Juventus are desperate for Sancho. They're desperate.
But instead, we'll get into the Sterling situation because that's going to be a decent debate. But the thing is, with Chiesa, I said it in the group chat the other day. You're the same as me. We watched him quite a lot last season. He's very inconsistent, but when he's good, he's fucking good. Isn't he?
He's a player I want in a big match against a big team.
But is that another Rashford?
No, I don't think so. I think Rashford's better. and you can say whatever you want about that. Rashford's better than Chiesa.
If you go, what is it like better now or was better? Because obviously he was better.
I think he's better than Chiesa at almost everything. But Chiesa is in a better moment than Rashford. Rashford is going like that. Chiesa's there. Obviously, he's had his injury problems, Chiesa.
Yeah.
But you've got a £15 million forward who should have been about 2 years ago after the Euros final in particular.
God,
you could have been looking at 100 million quid.
Yeah.
So
for 15 million, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it fails and he's no good.
Here you go, have Sancho.
He ain't getting in over the two over Diaz and Jota or Salah as it is anyway. So 15 million for a backup winger, bargain, and he could turn out to be a world beater.
Yeah.
That's mad, and no one's even bothered.
I think his injury record is probably a problem, but
and his wages aren't going to be as big as Sterling's. Because if we get Sterling,
Sterling's going to be cost the club a fortune. So
while we're on that subject, how does that make you feel? Because
if Sterling comes in and absolutely rocks it, oh my God, that's the best feeling ever.
Sterling's
We've got a former City player, former Liverpool player who's pulling up trees for Man United, or we have an absolute dud, a flop who is just on that way again, and it's Man United all over again.
And he fits in well with our team philosophy of missing chances. It's all
Not
he
being
seems to
able to
do.
shoot.
Yeah, can't shoot. Oh, we'll sign him. Can't shoot.
Yeah.
Come play on the wing for us.
And we forget Sterling's best years, best positioning has been through Pep when he was getting into the box and being almost like that second centre forward. He was in the right positions, putting the ball away. He focused on numbers rather than dribbling. And
however, he did it for England consistently.
The Euros, our best player.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite English players we've watched. I really love Harry Kane and everything else. But Sterling, he gave everything, didn't he? And he was class. That year we got to the final against Italy. He was class that year. He was our game-winning player. So we know he's a player in there. He is 30 in December. He's aging. I don't think he's declined too much. I just think he doesn't probably fit in with Chelsea. Like I said, he fit well under Pep's regime. I don't think he'll change us. But if we were to get, say, 30 million and Sterling for Sancho, I'd be happy. But if it's just a straight swap, absolutely not.
Well, while we're at it, get 30 million for Sancho and Sterling and go and spend 15 of it on Chiesa and then spend the rest on putting it towards Ivan Toney.
I was going to say the same thing, yeah. But Scott's gone now. We've got 25 for Scott. Can
I just say something on Scott McTominay?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm gutted he's gone now. Now I've been giving him so much abuse. I feel a bit lost now he's gone because he gave everything, didn't he?
He came through the club at 5 years old. Manchester United through and through. He loves the club. He's been treated like absolute shit from half the fan base. He has never, ever once stepped a foot on that pitch and not given everything. He never says a word about it. He always interacts with the fans. He's brilliant with the fans. He loves the club, loves the culture, embodied Manchester United in terms of his spirit. And we're letting him go for 25 million quid to Napoli when he's just had arguably his best year of football for Scotland, the national team, and Man United. I'm devastated.
I'm not. I'm not devastated he's gone because the quality wasn't there. He used to frustrate the hell out of me, but not because he wasn't trying. Like, he gave everything. I just felt like he just didn't do enough in certain games. But that's by the by. But I do feel like we've lost a big player in that sense. Like, he gave everything. How many players you can honestly say now give absolutely everything for that shirt? He is definitely one of them. And I really, really hope he goes to Napoli and absolutely smashes it.
Yes,
I really, really do.
Yeah.
Speaking of going abroad, did you see the cameo from Douglas Luiz the other night for Juventus?
Yeah, he was very good.
He's unbelievable.
Very good.
How have we let him go? Has he slipped through the Premier League? He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
They've gone and signed. Who did City sign in the middle from Wolves? Nunes.
Yeah.
For what, 50, 60 million, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then he's gone over to Juventus for, I think it was 35 million.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a premium from Premier League club to Premier League club. But
that's why Ivan Toney for us would be 70 million.
The player that I am screaming out for Manchester United to buy is at Napoli. And here's a chance for a deal. It's Kvaratskhelia. Go and get this man. He's going to have a £150 million buyout clause at the end of this year if he's not sold. Go and get him. You've just spent 25 or lost 25 million or gained 25 million, however you want to look at it, in losing Scott McTominay. Sort out a deal. Your negotiations are right there. You've got a relationship with a club in Napoli right now. Okay, you'll have Scott. We'll have Kvicha. Great deal. Okay, we'll pay you £60 million. He's a £150 million player after this year.
He's class.
He's 23 years old and he's on the cusp of being a world-class winger. That solves every single problem Manchester United have right now because we've got a match winner.
Yeah, and a goal scorer.
And someone who works back, who's absolutely not adverse to working back, tracking back, winning the ball back and getting us up the pitch. He is an absolute no-brainer. He's going to go to Real Madrid if no one comes in for him. He's going to go to Barcelona if no one comes in for him.
PSG. Something like that.
But what a waste.
Yeah.
Go and get him.
I think with us now, we've let those type of players go too long. We're not big enough for them now. He's big move, he's big contract. You don't want that at United. Not at the moment.
It looks like he's deciding to stay at Napoli for this year and sign a contract. He's got a contract till 2027, I think. But
Osimhen as well.
Osimhen wants out, but no one's going to pay the wages. And again for Chelsea, but go and get him. We've just established a relationship with Napoli by selling him a player. How do we not?
Oh, no, we're just how do we not? Player.
How do we not see the best player in that squad right now?
I think we can, but I don't think we can do about it. We can't afford it.
I actually think, and I'm guilty of this. I actually think we're obsessed with Rashford. I think we're too obsessed with Rashford.
100%. Anyone, like I said to you earlier, anyone else who performed as badly as he did would not be in that squad. What's your ideal scenario then? Where do we go with Sancho? Who do we bring in? Because Sterling, again, is not one for tracking back. We're going to lose that on that big time if we get Sterling in, which I don't think Ten Hag likes. He likes someone who can get back. That's why Garnacho struggled at the beginning. Yeah. What's your ideal scenario with it? Because I'm lost.
Sancho goes to Juve. Mm-hmm. We leave the Sterling deal, and the most realistic, we sort out the Chiesa deal there and then, and we swap those two. If I'm talking ultra realistic, we get Sancho out, let him go to Serie A, and then we take in Kvaratskhelia, and life is good again. But I'm telling you now, these are the obvious things that I can see from a million miles away that any football fan who's watched any of these players enough, Kvaratskhelia, Chiesa, if we're sat there going for Sterling, I mean, it's just Man United all over again.
Nothing's changed.
This is just us, mate. New owners, new way of dealing. Oh, okay, let's bring in a 29-year-old forward who can't get a game at one of our rival clubs. It's just Manchester United all over again.
However, it could be a Van Persie.
Oh, no, it's not a Van Persie. Van Persie was on the absolute pinnacle, the prime of his career, and we went and nabbed him under the best manager that's ever been in the Premier League. Instead, we're under the worst manager that's ever been in the Premier League, and we're getting someone who's on a decline once again. We are, honestly...
You're right.
Yeah, right. My head's gone, mate.
It's a tough situation, isn't it? We need a left back. We're not going for a left back either. I do not want Ben Chilwell because I've never liked him. You're not fussed on him, are you?
It's just another, again, classic Man United.
Can't stay fit. Come and join our club.
Yeah.
No worries, yeah.
Oh, what? You've had 16 injuries in the last 2 weeks? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Come on in. Yeah.
Man United are offering you a 500
deal.
grand. Yeah, okay. Come on in, yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. It's a difficult one. You can all interact at home. I'm going to go with our 3 best goalkeepers of our lifetime, should we say. And I want to go through them and rank them in 3 because obviously, as we know, De Gea has now got a move to Fiorentina, and a lot of United fans I've seen giving him abuse when he conceded 3 goals in his first game, penalty being one of them, which I thought was horrendous. I can't believe that. But again, very good, decent shot stopper. Had a tough start. Van der Sar, obviously we all know about him, and then we all know about Peter Schmeichel. So we'll have a little bit of a discussion about them, and I want you to rank your 3 in order.
So Manchester United's top 3 ever goalkeepers.
I would say so.
Number 1. Number 3.
Oh, he's bottled it. Go on then.
Number 3, Peter Schmeichel.
Okay, why is that?
Just an unbelievable goalkeeper, and don't think that by him being number 3 is me saying he's not an unbelievable goalkeeper. A presence, a personality, and a big game player. But in terms of pure ability as a goalkeeper, I think he's behind the other 2. Number 2, Edwin van der Sar.
Oh.
Never felt unsafe with Edwin van der Sar. Never ever felt unsafe, and won Champions League with us, won multiple leagues with us, and did it at I think he was past. Was he 35, 36 when he did that?
Yeah, 37 when he finished with us.
So he's come from Fulham, come to Man United at that peak of his career, or past his peak of his career, but then went again and became an even better goalkeeper. So you've got to take your hat off to him. But as an all-round Manchester United goalkeeper, servant to the club, player of the year multiple times, David De Gea is Manchester United's best ever goalkeeper. The worst thing I see is the disrespect, especially from younger fans that maybe were like 6, 7, 8, at the time of De Gea first coming in, and then maybe like 15, 16, 17, the ones that you see all over the internet that didn't see David De Gea in his prime or didn't appreciate it, they only saw the decline. David De Gea was a monster goalkeeper.
Alisson, Edison, the argument they always looked at above him, weren't they?
Neither of them are on the same level as David De Gea was for those years. I've not seen a single goalkeeper since. I've never seen a goalkeeper in the Premier League, with the exception of Petr Cech, get anywhere near those levels that David De Gea did.
Cech was unbelievable.
But Petr Cech's the all-time best goalkeeper in the Premier League. I
agree. Yeah,
David De Gea is second.
Yeah, no, I'd probably have to agree, but that's weird because I'd have Van der Sar over De Gea. Van der Sar at his age, what he did, he was amazing at Fulham, never let them down. We should have signed him way before then. His shot stopping was phenomenal. His just overall goalkeeping ability was good. He'd come out and collect the ball, obviously save the penalty in the final. It was unbelievable. De Gea, for me, could never save penalties, wasn't great at commanding his box, but shot stopper, probably one of the best ever. I wouldn't say just Premier League, one of the best shot stoppers ever, I would say. But overall goalkeeping ability, I'd have Schmeichel over. I'd have Van der Sar over De Gea. Schmeichel for me is the same as you. Commanding the box, amazing. Rushing the players, absolutely brilliant. There was no one better to command that box, I don't think, that we've had. But how many mistakes did he make that a lot of people just let go unnoticed? Like, he lobbed a lot. Like, he conceded a lot of poor goals. Still a very, very good goalkeeper, but I just don't think he was at the level of the other two. For me personally, but I see online a lot of people go Schmeichel. No, Schmeichel was the best because it's their era, like nostalgia. No, Schmeichel was the best. Definitely Schmeichel. Why he's the best? Because he's the best goalkeeper. Well, explain to me why he's the best goalkeeper, and they can't. So for me, I agree. I'd probably put Schmeichel third. I'd probably then put De Gea second, and I would put Van der Sar first. But it is close. 3
absolute unbelievable goalkeepers, and Man United have been so lucky to have them. And we've had some terrible goalkeepers, but we've had some brilliant goalkeepers. And those 3, I think, are probably up there in the top 5 goalkeepers that the Premier League's ever seen. And Man United have 3 of them. So yeah, David De Gea, completely disrespected since he's gone. Forget the twilight of his career. What he did in his prime, there has never been a better goalkeeper for me.
Yeah, remember that Arsenal game?
Yeah. But this is what I mean. Take a one-off game right now. You're going into that game. You've got each goalkeeper in their absolute peak prime. I'm taking David De Gea because he's a match winner.
I'm taking Van der Sar. I get it though. I get it.
I
just think Van der Sar is just one of my favourites. Yeah. Just a little shout out to Jimmy Askelainen. Do you remember how good he was at shot stopping? He was so underrated.
Askelainen was a Premier League legend as well.
He was unbelievable. Yeah. He definitely should have got a bigger move than Bolton for me. I used to love watching him. He'd fly around the goal.
There's some brilliant goalkeepers in Premier League history, really.
Obviously we're going to go with Cech as number 1. We did touch it earlier when we had a chat before we came on about like another thing with players like De Gea and stuff. They get underrated. Look at Pepe Reina, for example. He won the Golden Glove for Liverpool, I think, for 2 seasons. He was not the best keeper in the league.
No. But a good goalkeeper.
Very good goalkeeper, but he was never the best keeper in the league, was he?
Yeah, and this is the thing when players retire, you either live long enough. No, you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. And De Gea stayed at Man United just that bit too long, I think. Otherwise, De Gea is the best goalkeeper that the Premier League's ever seen, almost. But the way it ended was so disastrous.
Social media's just killed everything now. Yeah. The abuse and stuff that players get.
It's like judging Ronaldo right now on his... I mean, Ronaldo's not had a bad season, so it's almost like not fair. It's like judging Messi on his time at PSG. That's not who Leo Messi is. Leo Messi is the time at Barcelona where he's scoring 50, 60, 70 goals a season. So, yeah, I don't think it's fair to judge De Gea based off just the last 2-3 seasons. I agree.
Or his first 2, for example.
His first 2, yeah.
Tough,
that middle 4 or 5 years was just unbelievable.
Well, he was our best player for consistently, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. Never let us down.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that comes to an end.
Well,
we could be here all day talking about that.
That was stressful. Look, I mean, next week we're going to be off the back of the Man United Liverpool game and going into an international break. And if we do not get a decent or positive result from that game, I worry for Erik ten Hag.
I may not be here for that. That could be the end of me.
Yeah. I'd like to wrap the show up, Vince.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for listening. We will be here every Thursday and Thursday thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to say?
I'd like to say, can you go and follow Vince on TikTok? He started a TikTok page which is purely content made from this show. It's, what is it?
Vince is Red?
No. What's your actual TikTok page?
Vince is Red? No, not Vince is Red. What is it? Oh my God, Vince Goalpost.
Vince Goalpost.
I couldn't remember.
Do you want me to say that again?
Vince Red. I don't know why I got Vince.
Do you know what, guys? Actually, leave this in. Don't go and follow him because he doesn't even know his own name. Vince Goalpost. It's at Vince Goalpost on TikTok. He's got loads of clips from this show. If you want to go and follow me, I'm at Alex Goalpost. Are you on Twitter yet? Oh God.
No way.
I think it is. Guys, thank you so much. That is the door. I think we're going to be arrested for our opinions on Erik ten Hag. See you later.
Ta-ra.